Hello and welcome to Inbound Marketing 101 presented by WebAscender. I am Stephanie and I'm here with Samantha and we're going to be your hosts today. Sorry for a little bit of delay getting started here, but just kind of giving people a minute to get in, get things figured out, and all of that. So to get started, we'll just introduce ourselves for you here. I am Stephanie, and Samantha is here with me as well.
Hey everybody, glad you could join us.
We are part of the inbound marketing team at WebAscender. So this is a live webinar today, and we really want to generate some conversation around everything that we're talking about, and the way we're going to do that is via Twitter. So we'll be using the hashtag inbound101. You can tweet at us throughout the webinar today. We'll answer any questions that you have that way. If you're not on Twitter, you can email us at im@webascender.com, and we'll be in touch with you that way as well. So to get started, we'd like you to tell us, what is the #1 marketing challenge that you face? And that can be something online, offline, just anything that is a challenge, your #1 challenge for your business when it comes to marketing. And now that we've kind of introduced ourselves, you're familiar with the Twitter, you're going to be tweeting at us. We can get started with the actual content here around inbound marketing. And so the first question we want to ask is, who is inbound marketing for? So when you're thinking about inbound marketing for your business, you want to start out with asking some questions about your customers. So do your customers search online to learn about your industry or the products or services that you offer? Is the internet a resource that they're using throughout that process? Also, do they do research prior to making a purchase decision? Is your product or service something that people just go and do immediately, or is there some type of process, understanding, decision making that goes over a period of time before that purchase decision is made? And finally, do your customers like free things? So inbound marketing is all about generating value, content, things that are going to provide your customers, build a relationship with them, and provide value to them over time. So really everybody likes free things, and that's why we see so much success with inbound marketing. You also want to ask some questions specific about your business. So are your competitors using different marketing strategies such as a website, social media, ads online, email to attract customers, build brand awareness, all of that? Is that a place where your competitors can be found? Also, are your competitors ranking higher than you in search results? The way search algorithms work today, content is really important to ranking well in search engines. If your competition has great content strategies in place, you're probably going to see when you go around searching for your products or your services, those competitors outranking you. That's something that inbound marketing can help you strategize against. Also, are your current marketing strategies failing to meet your expectations? So when we started out here, we asked, what is the #1 marketing marketing challenge that you face? This aligns right with that. If your current marketing strategies are falling short of where you want to be, they're not getting you there, maybe inbound marketing is something to consider for your business. And finally, are you looking for ways to grow and sustain your business over time? Inbound marketing is a much more sustainable approach because of all of the content that is involved. You're generating this content that's always going to be there versus other more traditional marketing approaches that include ad buys on television or things that you kind of pay for one time, and then you don't really see the long-term value in that. Inbound marketing is very much the opposite, where it's very sustainable. You build on everything that you do over time. So now that we have a good idea of who inbound marketing might be a good fit for, you might be thinking, yes, I agree with all of these questions that we've just asked about my customers and my business. I think inbound marketing might be for me. I want to learn more. Now we're going to dig into what exactly is inbound marketing. What do we mean when we say inbound marketing? So here we have just the difference between your traditional outbound marketing versus inbound marketing. And when we talk about outbound marketing tactics specifically, we're talking about things like cold calling, cold emails, billboards, television ads, things that are very interruptive, things that are targeting the masses, and then you're kind of hoping that you get some of the right people and they come back to you. So outbound marketing is very marketer centric in that sense. When we talk about inbound marketing, we're talking more about things like search engine optimization, blogging, attracting visitors to your website, and providing them value. So in that sense, inbound marketing is very customer centric. It's all focused on the customer, the value that you can provide to them. So once again, outbound marketing or more traditional marketing pushes products and services on the customer. You are actively seeking out customers from the masses. You're really focusing on the features and the benefits that you offer to them, and communication is really only one way. Whereas with inbound marketing, you're relying much more on earning the attention of your customers. They're out there, there's these strangers, they're doing some searches in Google, and they're finding you based on what you're targeting or how you want to be found. So they are finding you, you are bringing customers in, and you're doing that by providing value to them. You're really being useful, you're being interesting, and you're being entertaining in a way that helps them solve their problems. Also, inbound marketing has communication that is two-way. It's very interactive, it's engaging, you have social media, you have email, it's very opt-in, and there's just communication there that isn't possible with more traditional or outbound marketing. So when we talk about inbound marketing and we talk about what goes into an inbound marketing strategy, you get all of these different kind of pieces. You get blogging, you get a customer relationship management system where you have all of your contacts, you have these calls to action and landing pages, content offers, email marketing, analytics, content, all of these different things that really can be overwhelming if you don't know how to approach them properly. And so when people come to us, we typically find one of two situations. The first is they're just not doing these things. They're still focused on your TV or your radio ads or cold calling, or they're just not using their website as a lead generating machine. This second type of person that we have come to us is someone who is doing these things, but they don't really have a strategy or a rhyme and reason to how they're doing them. So it really turns into this kind of jumbled mess of how do I make sense of the data that's coming in and how do I improve things over time because I just don't know. And that is where the inbound marketing philosophy comes in. This is going to show us how to map out each of those different components, your blogging and your landing pages and your email marketing, in a way that they make sense in a campaign type of basis. So inbound marketing is based on just the general idea that consumers aren't buying today the same way that they did 10 years ago. You think about how you went grocery shopping 10 years ago. You would go into the grocery store, pick up the items that you need. You might flip through, a paper ad, walk out the door. Today, you wouldn't go into the grocery store without having your smartphone in hand. You might have your recipes for the week mapped out in your app. You might actually be searching for what you want to make on your phone while you're in the grocery store. And then you're looking for coupons and all of these different kinds of things. So really, the way that we buy things has changed drastically. And as marketers, the way that we approach consumers needs to change accordingly. And really to understand how that buyer's journey or the consumer's journey to a purchase has changed, we need to understand just the underlying what process do we go through, or what process do our customers go through in order to make a purchase. And we're going to call that here the buyer's journey. So as an example, we have someone who has got some car problems. So there's this 3-stage approach to their buyer's journey, and it starts out, you know, your car, it's making a funny noise. You don't know what's causing it, but you need to figure it out because you need a reliable car to get to work and do kind of your daily business. So your first step might be to do some searches in Google, try and figure out what that noise might be, watch a YouTube video, you might take it into a mechanic, but you're really in this awareness stage of, I have this problem with my car, I don't know what it is. From there, once you start to identify what the problem might be, you move into more of a consideration stage where you identify the problem, you pinpoint it, the issues with my transmission, what am I going to do now? So now you're considering your options. You could replace your transmission, but that's pretty expensive. Your car's kind of old. You don't know if it's worth the money in the long run. You could buy a used car. You could buy a new car to replace it. You've got all these different options or solutions to your problem that you could pick from. So the awareness stage, you've got a problem. The consideration stage, you've got solutions to your problem. And when it comes to the decision stage, you've identified the solution that you're going to go with. So you're going to buy a new car, and then you have to go through the process of evaluating the different options, the different dealers you could purchase from, the different types of cars you could buy. So this is really a 3-stage approach to buying anything, and you can apply this to your business as well. But by understanding this buyer's journey and the process that someone goes through, we can identify the types of content that they need in each stage of this buyer's journey, and then create that content to facilitate the move from awareness to consideration to decision. So I just kind of mentioned that each stage of this buyer's journey has different types of content that people are consuming with it. And just to give you an idea of what that looks like, we have an outline of that those types of content offers that might go with each stage. So in the awareness stage, you might be downloading a free guide or a white paper or a checklist of some kind, whereas in the consideration stage, you might be more interested in a case study or a free sample. And then when you're in that decision stage, that's when you're looking for things like a consultation, a demo, a free trial. So the types of content are really different between each of these stages, and by looking at the overall inbound marketing method, we can really understand where to create what types of content in order to move people from one stage to the other and turn them into customers. And so in order to move people through that process, we use what's called the inbound marketing methodology. And this is an outline of that campaign-specific approach to each stage in order to move people through. So you might have seen, if you're familiar with inbound marketing, something similar to this in the past. The general idea is that you have these strangers out there, typically in the awareness stage of the buying process, who know nothing about your business, know nothing about your product sometimes or the service that you offer. They really just have a problem, and they're searching for that problem, and you need a way to attract them to your website. And the ways that you do that are going to involve content specifically that answers the questions they have. So that might be blog posts targeting specific keywords that they're searching, using social media or different forms of ads to bring them in and turn them into visitors of your website. Once you have these visitors on your website, the next thing you want to do is convert them into identifiable people. You want to have a name that goes along with that person so that you can begin the process of pursuing them. So ways that you would convert a visitor into a lead would be by having forums on your website, by having calls to action or CTAs that give the visitor a clear next step of what you want them to do, and also landing pages that might contain an offer that provides some type of value that will get them to give over some of their contact information. And then once you convert them into a lead, then comes the important part of closing them into a customer. And the ways that you can do that include email marketing. So they've already opted in to getting information from you. They've seen content that they see as being valuable. They've given you their contact information based on that. And now you can market to them using email content. You can track their behavior on your website using different signals, and then you can funnel them through different workflows of email content and offers until they get to the point where they are a customer. And then once you have these customers, that process doesn't stop. You need to continue nurturing them over time into really loyal customers, promoters of your brand who are going to drive referrals and bring more strangers back to your site and kind of start that process over again. So now if we take a look specifically at each of these stages of the inbound marketing method, we can see in the attract stage, you're really targeting people who are interested in what you have but might not know that you exist yet. And so with blog posts, search engine optimization, pages on your website, social media content, you can focus in on the specific person that you want to attract and get your rankings in place and the different traffic generation techniques in place to attract those people to the website. What's really important with inbound marketing is making sure that the people that you target are specific to the content that's on your site. So for example, the things that matter to a CEO of a company are going to be different things than what matters to, say, a marketing manager in a company. And so by creating what's called a buyer persona, you can create different content that focuses on the same product or service, but targets those people differently based on their wants or needs or challenges that they face. So here's an example of what that buyer persona might look like. And really what a buyer persona is just a fictional representation of who your ideal customer is. And you can figure this out based on research, based on your experience. You can even survey current customers that you have to figure out really what their problems are and how you solve those problems. But some of the main things that you would include in your buyer persona would include their demographics, their online behavior, where they go to find different resources, where they go to learn things, what really motivates them in their job, and then what are some of the challenges or concerns that they face on a daily basis. And now we come back to the inbound marketing methodology once again, and from that attract stage, you're attracting your buyer persona into a visitor. Once you have that visitor, you're converting them into a lead to try and collect that contact information using a call to action that might be on your blog post. That's a button that says download this white paper. Someone clicks on that, goes out to the landing page that has a form on it, fills out that form to download the white paper. They then become a contact or a lead that you can nurture and pursue. Once you have that lead, the things that you can do to nurture them over time include marketing automation, so setting up different workflows for those people based on how they found you, what they're interested in, different conversations that you've had to see where they're at and nurture to them over time until they come to a point where they're really sales ready and you can hand them off to the sales team. You can also use just general email marketing to keep in touch with them, to prove the value of your company, your product, your service to them. You can use what's called closed loop marketing to really identify where they came from and follow them through the process in order to track what are your most valuable marketing assets and how can you use those for your existing leads to turn them into customers. And then you also have your CRM, or how you track and score your leads. How do you know who is worth pursuing at a certain time? How do you prioritize who's a warm lead versus a hot lead versus a cold lead at that time? And then once you do nurture those leads into customers, some ways to continue to delight them and engage with them over time so that they will generate more referral traffic for you in the future include social media, smart calls to action or smart text on your site. And what that is content that changes based on who the user is. So using different types of tracking to target or show people different content based on whether they're a customer or not, or different behaviors that they have completed in the past. And then also just surveys in general to identify who are your most loyal customers, who needs that extra nudge to really get on your side. So in summary, inbound marketing is all about building trust with your prospects, providing value to them in a way that is going to help them appreciate you, appreciate your product or service, and then also really just outsmarting your competition, having the right content in the right places that's targeting the right people so that people think of you rather than the other guys. And now I'm going to pass this over to Samantha, and she's going to go over an example of a inbound marketing campaign for you.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. So now that we've kind of gone through what is inbound marketing and what is kind of the process that you use to create an inbound marketing campaign, let's just go through a real example just so we can see what that would look like. So what we're going to do is start with a company, and this is Smith Chiropractic, and this is actually based on one of our actual customers, but we have changed the name just to maintain confidentiality, but this is actually a very real example of someone that's really ahead of the curve when it comes to inbound marketing. So a little bit about Smith Chiropractic. They are a private practice based out of Miami, Florida, and they treat all forms of back pain, but particularly specialize in auto accident injuries. So the first thing we do in the core of every inbound marketing campaign, as Stephanie had pointed out, is that you want to identify a buyer persona that you want to target. So again, this is a fictional representation of a subset of your ideal customers. And in this persona, you actually want to identify everything from their background to their education, their desires, their challenges, and so on. The more information that you have about your persona or your ideal customer, the easier it will be to actually tailor your content, such as your blog posts and your website content, as well as the actions that you want them to take, like to request a free consultation or download something, because that will speak more directly to them and actually entice them to take those actions. So in this case, we identified automobile accident Amy. And a little bit of background on Amy is that she was in a car accident about 6 months ago, and she's still in pain from that. For the most part, she's in great health. She eats healthy, she exercises, but she's still in constant pain, and she's really having a hard time actually enjoying life because it's just a nagging problem for her. So she really needs to solve this problem, but she really doesn't want to take any invasive procedures or prescriptions that would get in the way of her being healthy overall. So this is the first step in your inbound marketing campaign, is to identify a persona. So in this case, we'll move forward with trying to target automobile accident Amy. The next step after you identify the persona that you want to reach is to create some sort of offer, like a free consultation, a checklist, a white paper, an ebook that would speak directly to someone like Amy. And we call this a lead magnet. And obviously that's because what we're trying to do is turn website visitors into actual leads for you. So what we would do with this offer is to present it to someone in exchange for their contact information. So when you provide someone with something of value, that would entice them enough to actually want to give you the information, because people are very protective of that information today. So you have to give them something that would entice them enough to do that. So now that we've identified our persona and we've created an offer that would speak directly to that persona, and that would be Amy in this case, the next step is to actually draw traffic to your website. And we want qualified traffic. So ideally what we would do is create content such as educational pieces or just helpful pieces that would actually target someone or speak to someone like Auto Accident Amy. And the main way that we do this is actually through blog content. Search engines will pick up on this blog content in search results, as well as it's easily shared in social media and found in social media. So in this case, Smith Chiropractic wrote a series of blog posts having to do with relieving back pain naturally, as well as around the topic of auto accident injuries, in order to draw Amy to the website. So a couple of those blog posts, just as an example, were around aromatherapy tricks for back pain, as well as 5 exercises to relieve back pain. So the point of this is to create this content that would draw someone like Amy to the website and then present the offer to them. So a couple places that you can typically do this is within the content on the sidebar, or at the very bottom of like a blog post is where you can present this offer, like this ebook. So the next step is to actually get someone to, once you have someone that actually clicks on the call to action, is to take them to a landing page. So this is key to actually convincing people to give you their information in exchange for this offer, and moving someone from just the attraction stage in the inbound marketing methodology to the actual conversion stage when they become a real lead. In this example, you'll see that there's a little tease of what the content is for the ebook, and then in this case, it's the 6 ways to naturally relieve back pain, as well as a very basic form asking for just a name and an email address. And that's very important because we don't want it to be an invasive form, because this is just your first initial contact. You'll then take that contact and actually nurture this person over time, as we'll see as we move on. So the next stage, after you have someone that fills out the landing page, it's very important to redirect them to a thank you page. And that's because the goal of this thank you page is to help you qualify your leads. It also helps you to decrease your bounce rate from your website. So if someone were to fill out that ebook and come to this landing page, we don't want them leaving right away. We want them to peruse around the website so you can actually start nurturing them right then, as well as it allows you to keep new leads and just engaged in your company. So there's a couple of key elements to this page that actually facilitate that. One of the ways is by putting or promoting relevant content, such as other blog posts or other offers on this page, as well as including different shareable buttons like email share or social sharing buttons that allow them to share it with their friends and their family on social media, so then it just further expands your reach. And then also the thank you page is perfect just for thanking them. People want to know that they're appreciated and that you show that you care. So this thank you page actually is kind of the first foot in the door of actually nurturing someone from the convert stage, so where they're a lead, to the close stage when they become a customer. So once you have already gained their contact information, it's important to start nurturing and encouraging these leads to become actual paying customers. And the main way that we do that typically is through email lead nurturing, or automation in this case. So what email lead nurturing is a series of pre-written automated emails that will be triggered based on a different event or someone's behavior. So in this case, someone filled out that form for the ebook, and now they're going to receive pre-written timed emails over a series of couple of weeks that will help to nurture them and convince them into becoming a customer. So by sending these emails, you help to create supplemental and educational information that will not only show that you care about these people, but that you're also an expert in the area. So just a side note about these automated emails, they also work great for other stages, such as when someone's already become a customer. It's perfect to help to nurture them into becoming a brand ambassador as well as a repeat customer. All right, so now someone will say that you nurtured them and they became a customer, which is perfect. You've captured their information, they've already paid you, and maybe they're even a reoccurring customer. You probably think that your job is done. But actually, you have a great opportunity to create not only a brand ambassador for you that's going to tell their friends and their families, as well as the social media world about you, but hopefully you can upsell or resell to them in the long run. So one of the ways that we do this, which this is through the delight stage of the inbound marketing methodology, is through social media monitoring. So what this is you monitor the media to understand who's saying what about your company, product, or brand. The insights you gain from this help you to craft relevant messages. It also helps you to create really effective new inbound marketing campaigns, as well as respond to any press that you get. So in a time that when social proof and testimonials and reviews play such a huge role in people's buying decisions, the companies that do this most effectively sustain, but they'll be thriving over time. So that essentially is kind of a basic outline of what an inbound marketing campaign would look like, but a very successful one at that. There's a variety of different things that you can implement in each of those stages of the methodology, but this campaign in particular has been very effective. So now that we've gone through this process of what is inbound marketing, what's the methodology, and we've looked at a real example, you're probably thinking, okay, well, could this really work for my business? So let's bring it back to where we started. And let's discuss those questions about your customers again. Now that you're thinking about it and you've seen an example, do your customers search online to learn about your products and services? Or are they researching your products and services or your business and industry before they actually make a purchasing decision? And the last one to think about is, of course, we talked about, do they like free things? Do they like to download ebooks or white papers or checklists? And we have occasionally run into people that thought that their customers don't do those things, but honestly, people love free things. So whenever you can, I know that personally too, whenever I can get something for free, I'm willing to do that. So you got to think about those things in terms of your customers. The next thing to think about is about your business and your competitors. So now that you've kind of dug into this a little bit further, can you recognize that your competitors right now have a business website that they're adding content to? Are they engaging on social media? Are they running ads, or do they have an email automation or newsletter set up? Are your competitors ranking higher than you? So one of the ways that you can actually research this is, which is a little bit more accurate, instead of just going to somewhere like Google and typing in your products or your industry, what you should do is open up a private view or an incognito view. And basically, that's because Google now, because they're trying to serve the most relevant results, they utilize different things like your geography and your location to determine what to serve you. So when you open up a private view, and you can do this by going to the file of your browser and opening up a private view, or incognito it's usually called, you can actually search your products and services there, which will give you a better idea of where you're ranking against your competitors. So some other things, lastly, to think about, how are your marketing strategies right now? Are you getting the leads that you want to get? Are you getting the traffic from it? Are you actually seeing any fruit of it? Or are you just kind of guessing at how well they're performing? And then finally, what's your goal? What's your long-term goals? Are you hoping to grow and sustain over time, or are you just hoping to stay status quo? So yes, if you're saying yes to a bunch of these things, then really inbound marketing might not only be a great fit for you, but it literally might be exactly what you need to not only grow, but outsmart your competitors over time. So kind of an inbound marketing rule of thumb that you can go by to kind of determine, all right, is this right for me, is four areas that you can look at. The first one is your customer's buying process. Is it more of a considered process, like someone goes through a thought process into making an actual decision to purchase, or is it more transactional? And that would be more like going to the grocery store and choosing between peanut butter brands. So if they're more considered, then that's a good sign for you. You also want to think about your sales cycle and your average sale. So is your sales cycle between a week and a year? And then is your average sale between $50 and $50,000? And lastly, you want to think about your sales model. Are you more direct sales versus through a channel like Target or Walmart? Then that would be perfect. And that doesn't count against sales reps because they work directly under you. So if you're more of a direct sales model, then inbound marketing would be a wonderful fit for you. So just a little bit of statistic here. 62% is the average amount of money businesses save per lead using inbound marketing that we've found. And why is that exactly? That's because you're getting high quality leads, people that are already seeking your products and services out, and you're able to track someone through the entire sales funnel so that you know what channels actually generate revenue for you. And then you're not spending your marketing dollars in areas that aren't working for you. Overall, what we have found is that on average, companies save $20,000 per year by investing more in inbound marketing versus outbound marketing. And just to put that in perspective, if you think over 5 years you invest in inbound marketing, you've already saved $100,000. And that's money in your pocket. So that's a pretty significant investment. Obviously, there's an initial investment in actually doing inbound marketing, just like any marketing strategy. But the numbers in the end, you're going to save significantly more when you invest in this type of strategy. All right, so now that we've kind of gone through, is inbound right for your business? And you're thinking, wow, I think this could work for my business right now, and it sounds great, and I understand how it works. Let's just go over how inbound marketing will actually transform your business in the long run. The first thing is inbound marketing is actually going to draw in qualified prospects. They're already expressing a need for your products, your services, your tools that you provide, whether they know it or not. Instead of seeking out prospects and actually creating a need for your products and services like traditional strategies do. Then second thing here is that inbound marketing meets your prospects in every stage of the buyer's journey, whether or not they've realized that they need your solution or not. It meets them in every stage, whether they don't know of their problem yet, whether they're trying to figure out what to do, or if they're just researching vendors for their actual product or service. The third one here is that inbound marketing allows you to easily track each element of your inbound marketing efforts and actually see how it affects your overall ROI, instead of wondering if your marketing dollars are going to the right place. And the fourth one here is that inbound marketing creates a systematic approach to your marketing, allowing you to streamline all your marketing efforts. instead of keeping you guessing what to do next and just throwing out random marketing pieces and hoping that something sticks. So the most important thing to remember about inbound marketing is that the opportunity and results are unlimited. Once you create your content and you set your campaigns in place, it will continue to draw people over time, linking you to your next customer. Inbound marketing is designed to create a streamlined, modern approach to reaching qualified leads that you're already looking for what you have to offer. All right, so maybe you're convinced and you're thinking, okay, I get it and it makes sense for my business, but how do I even get started? Well, as a gift to you guys for attending, we would love to sit down and have a quick inbound marketing assessment, just one-on-one, so we can review your issues or your obstacles within your business and maybe how inbound marketing could help you solve those problems. So what we'll be doing after this is we'll be sending you a recording of today's webinar in an email, as well as instructions for scheduling that assessment if you're interested, and along with some other inbound marketing resources to help you just get started. So thanks for joining us. That's actually all the content that we were going to cover today, but we would love to open it up for any questions that you have right now. I know that some people have been tweeting us with that hashtag as well as emailing us. So feel free to do that right now and we'll answer some of those questions now.
All right, so the first question that we have here comes from Jack, and he is wondering specifically about how to get past a gatekeeper and get to the decision maker. And I think the question was specific to law firms, but I think this is something that a lot of businesses face is how do you get to that decision maker when you need to? And so there's a couple of ways that inbound marketing can help with that. And one thing that we talked about is creating those buyer personas. And so you would actually be able to create a different persona specific for your CEO or your marketing exec or whoever your decision maker is that you're trying to reach versus the gatekeeper or the person that typically contacts you. And what that would allow you to do using inbound marketing, you can actually segment out and score those leads differently. So if you have a contact who's a CEO or whatever your target, whoever your decision maker is, you can ask that question on your form, say select your job title. You can then categorize them differently in your CRM, and then when you're scoring those leads, have that information in mind. Another thing you can do with your inbound marketing to solve this problem would be through more marketing automation, where based on those categories, the workflow emails that you send out would be different based on those what the job title is or who you're trying to reach. And then also, in addition to the personas, you can also make sure that the content and the blog posts that you write on your website are targeting questions that are phrased in a way that your decision maker might ask, as opposed to a way that the gatekeeper would ask. And so really by creating those personas of who you want to target and identifying those, that's going to help a ton. Also, it can help internally. So say you have, a CEO, Oscar, and marketing, Mary, and those are your personas or your fictional representations of who you want to target. You can use that information internally. So you have a salesperson who needs help on a sale and comes to you and says, hey, I've got this marketing, Mary, can you help me out with? You instantly know what that means, what that person looks like, and how you can approach that sale or that customer differently.
All right, it looks like we have another question from Allison asking, how do you choose good keywords? And I'm assuming this is kind of going back to that attract stage. And so basically there's different ways that you can do this. One of the ways is you just want to think about, okay, what are this ideal let's say you picked a persona and you're trying to create a content offer or blog post for them. You want to think about what would that person type into Google if they're looking for something around this topic. So this first thing you want to keep in mind, because people often get caught up in like legal lingo or jargon, and that's where people miss the opportunities because they're trying to target people that don't actually use those terms or phrases. So the next thing you can do is utilize different tools like Google AdWords Keyword Planner and research different terms around a subject that you want and get different volumes of searches that people utilize. So you don't necessarily want to target the highest search volume because there's going to be a lot of competition for that. So you typically want to stick within keywords that have about a medium search volume. And you also want to target longer tail keywords because let's just say, for example, if you sold running shoes, if you tried to target just running shoes, there are thousands and thousands of other companies right now that are targeting those that have much more influence than you. Whereas you might want to target good form female running shoes if that's more of your specialty, and you have a better chance of actually getting traffic to those type of pages or blog posts because there's not going to be as much competition. So those are a couple ways that you can do it.
All right, and then the next question here comes from Gina. How do I get good ideas for content creation? And I think a lot of what we have been answering here comes back to the idea of buyer personas and knowing who you are targeting. But with that, really what your buyer personas can do in terms of content creation is tell you what their primary challenges are or obstacles or questions that they face are, and then you can answer that with the content that you create. And so that really comes down to like knowing your long tail keywords or your longer phrases, how to do this, or those longer questions that people are searching for, and then using your content to answer those questions. Other things that make great content specific for inbound marketing can be checklists. If there are things that either you do on a regular basis that would be applicable to your customer base, creating those checklists, making that information available can be really actionable for people. And then just answering questions that you get frequently from customers, because if one customer or prospect is asking you a question, chances are that there's other people out there who have the same question and they're searching on that question. So if you can create content around that, then that's going to bring in more search traffic and really boost your credibility, your thought leadership as well.
All right, we're just checking for some additional questions here. We appreciate you guys sending those in. It's definitely it's good for us to know what to share, as well as hopefully we can help you answer some of your biggest questions.
All right, so we've got another, and I know we only have a couple more minutes left. We're going to try and keep it to 60 minutes here. Just for you guys. So we'll answer a couple more questions. So if you do have questions, now would be the time to send those in. I think we might have time for a couple more. So the next one here is from Matt, and the question is, how long before I see results? And so that's a good question, and it definitely varies from client to client. And some of the things that go into that are going to be what does your existing website or online presence look like? If you have some things established, then you're going to see results a little bit quicker versus not having anything established. And things like your leads coming into your website, if you have website traffic already, the leads, and you're not capturing leads from that traffic, just getting the right landing pages, CTAs, forms in place to capture leads from those visitors can be an almost immediate effect. If you don't have a lot of content, aren't ranking for a lot of keywords, it really is a longer term strategy to get those keywords ranking and start to generate more traffic to your website. And that can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months to start seeing those results. And then a year beyond that to really realize the full value of it. So inbound marketing is not kind of a start it and you see results right away kind of thing, but we've talked a little bit about how it is a lot more sustainable than some other forms of marketing, like your PPC, where you're paying per click and then you are getting a visit for that click that you purchased, but once you cut off your AdWords budget, you're not showing up in search results anymore. Inbound marketing is very much a sustainable marketing approach. All right.
Okay, well, I think we are actually running out of time here, but if you guys send any other additional questions or tweet questions, we'll definitely make sure that we get to you directly and answer your questions that you might have. So we just appreciate you guys joining us today. This is a lot of fun. Sorry for the little bit of a delay at the beginning there, but yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to email us. We'll definitely be following up with an email with the slides from today, as well as some tools that you can utilize to start kind of utilizing inbound marketing for your business and understanding it further.
All right. Yeah, thanks. And if any questions, email us at im@webascender.com. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great rest of your day.